Time now, OD president, I'm sure you said it right here. Say people abused him and all that. I mean, insults and all that. How did you feel as a son that time?
You know, it was tough. You know, being a young man, of course, I was quite immature. I spent most of my time in the UK, but you know, growing up in the UK, you know, we are privileged enough to, you know, voice out our opinions, whether it's right or not. So you have the opportunity to say what you think, you know. And I always used to get upset because I wake up very early in the morning, you go on the internet, and the people are just spewing all sorts of misinformation about him. And of course, living with him, I know that but this is not what he said or this is not what he did. I used to go upstairs into his bedroom fuming, and I'll be showing him, and he would rather be calming me down, and I'll be looking at him like, hey, chairman. Me cool kwama on so you know, I don't have words to describe him, and his demeanor and his nature, and you know, he was just an amazing person.
Okay, so you were in UK and he was here as a president. How close were you to him, either by phone or whatever?
I was quite close to my father. He was very interested in my education. Let me tell you this: my father wanted me to go to London School of Economics.
Okay.
And you know, I studied mathematics, so I'm a numbers guy. I'm a mathematician. Okay. My father's older sister that I grew up with, Auntie Faye of blessed memory. Okay. She taught mathematics at Ola Training College in Cape Coast. Oh, okay. Teachers Training College. So growing up with her, you know, you cannot fail in maths. So I was a mathematician, and I wanted to go and study engineering. Actually, I did study engineering. I'm a structural engineer by profession. Okay. So I wanted to go into engineering, but my father wanted me to go and read law and economics and all of that. He wanted me to follow his path. And it became a big fight.
Between you and him?
Oh, it was a big fight. You see, as a father, now I understand him, because sometimes I look at my son and I'm like, you know, he needs to. Sometimes my son, when he's on half term or, you know, public holidays, I take him to my office, you know, just so that he can start seeing what daddy is doing. So I understand now, but at the time, you know, I thought that, you know, I knew what I wanted to do.
So you wish you'd have studied economics and law?
Not necessarily, but I'm just saying, I'm showing you how passionate he was
about your education.
About my education, and wanting to, you know, help direct and shape, you know, what direction I should go in and stuff. I mean, we fought to the extent that I just wanted to, you know, do the engineering and pass and you know, show him that, look, I did it, and you know, passed. And I went and did it. I went and passed and brought it, and he was proud of me. Okay. You know, knowing very well that, you know, I went against his wishes, but you know, going and passing well, and you know, chartering and becoming a chartered engineer. He was very happy with it, but he was extremely, you know, interested in my education, and he was very instrumental in, you know, wanting to shape which direction I went into.
Did you speak to him either a day, 2 days, or even that day before he passed on?
I was living with him at the castle with him. I was with him in the morning. We had breakfast together.
That same day?
That morning. We had every day. If I'm not there, he won't eat. He will eat. Yeah, if I'm not at the table, people that were around would testify. If I'm not there, he would let them call me to come and eat. He wanted to make sure I'd eaten. He wanted to make sure that I was okay and stuff. But I knew he wasn't well, and you know, God knew best. So he you know.
So you knowing that Dad was not well, always asking you to come have breakfast with him. What was your prayer?
Honestly, death is not something that you can predict to say that it will come today or tomorrow. But it's you know, it was a big blow. You know, we would have all prayed that, you know, he pulled through whatever he was going through. And you see, my father was also very protective. You know, he over me. Let me put it that way. My father was extremely protective over me.
Overly protective of you.
He was very, he even allowed people to say that he didn't have a child because it wasn't in his best interest. He felt it wasn't in his best interest for him to expose me as his only child. And because of that, I realized that I was his weakness, and he didn't want people to have that level of access to me. So, majority of the things he was going through, I believe that in his best knowledge, believe that he didn't think I wanted to be too worried about it or be too informed in it for me to obviously start acting out of character about it and all those things. So, most of the stuff I pretty much didn't know, but I could tell that, he wasn't, in the best of shapes. But, dying wasn't one of my foremost, it wasn't on my mind or something, but I mean, God knew best, so.
Okay. So you were here when it happened. How did you feel when the news was broken to you? How did you feel? I mean, I know it's a very tough question.
Yeah, it is, and it's 12 years, and I don't really like to.
How old were you then?
It's 22.
You were 22 then?
Yes. It was tough. I mean, it's always been tough because we eulogize him every year, and it's a constant reminder of what happened and how I felt, and being an only child, of course you would feel lonely. I was in Ghana because of my dad.
Okay.
I had no other reason to be here. It was him. When I finished engineering and I passed well, he brought me to Ghana because at the time there was a recession in the UK. They were laying people off. So once you come out of school with little experience in the trade that you wanted to be in, it was difficult because there was a huge layoff for engineers, and when there's recession, the construction industry is where it hits first. So he told me to come to Ghana to gain some experience here. So I was working with China State, Mr. Su at the time. So he was also very interested in making sure that I gained the necessary experience in the field that I'd chosen to be in. So, living with him and every evening coming back from work and telling him, the type of job 600. I was on that site. I was part of the team.
Those who renovated that place.
Well, yes, building the whole, even the judicial service project, the new court complex. I was part of the team with China State that executed that project right from the inception of the project and stuff. So I was very, very, very interested in what I did, but the vibrancy of our relationship and how he passed away was a big blow for me. Because I thought that I'd just got in the swing of things with him, and our Saturday morning conversations, and he used to talk to me about his past, when he was in SOAS and LSE, and when he went to Stanford. We had amazing conversations and stuff, and for him to just pass away, it was a tough time. It was a very, very, very tough time. I felt alone, in that space. But I had people come to my aid, especially His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He was extremely good to me. I can't even quantify it in words. But
you mean Mahama?
Yes, JM. He came through for me in a very massive way. Madame Auntie Lodina. She overnight became a mother to me. It was. They helped me a lot because I was going through a lot. So.
Were you there when it happened?
I was there.
You were right there.
I wasn't at the scene per se, but I was in the castle when it happened.
Were you restricted from going to the area where I'm sure when you heard about it, you want to go there, see your dad, looking at the bond that existed between both of you?
No, I think everybody was confused. I think it was an impromptu thing. I think everybody was literally just running around. It wasn't as if somebody was being restricted or anything, taking him to the hospital. I mean, he's the president. More people have access to him than I do, especially with the security details and all of that stuff. So it wasn't as if somebody was purposely trying to restrict or, no, everybody was like, hey, what's happening? How can we salvage the situation? Let's figure it out. Let's take him to a hospital. So I think everybody was in panic mode. So there wasn't any of that type of, let's stop this or anything like that. Everybody was trying to figure out.
So you saw your dad being conveyed to the hospital. You were there.
Of course.
Did you follow up, or you were asked to stay until maybe?
I mean, of course. I mean, I didn't follow to the hospital. I think that, you know, the people there in their right mind thought that it was important for me to stay back for them to go and handle it. I was too. I understand, because I would have been too young to even comprehend.
Okay.
You know, or to even face.
Would have been too much for you to consume. Okay.
So,
do you think we've celebrated him enough? Your dad?
100%.
As a country, have we actually eulogized him
at
that level?
I think we have. I think we have. And look, the NDC have done it all. I mean, every year without a fail, and it's almost like it's tattooed into their schedule for the year. Okay. It happens every single year. It's like clockwork. It does not end. I thought that maybe even after the 10th year they'll take a break and even do it every 5 years or something. They're still doing it religiously every year, and you know, the team that's in place, that's running it, are doing an amazing and fantastic job. They put together all the things or the speeches or the lectures that people have, you know, delivered about my father. I have a copy of it. I go through it in my office, and every day it's a learning curve for me.
How often do you visit Asomdwe Park?
I go there quite a lot. I actually take my children there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I take
to
my
see
children
their
there.
grandfather.
Oh yeah, they didn't meet him, but I always take them. And I feel like, you know, there's this aura and, you know, energy in that place when I go there with the family, and we kind of just talk to him and, you know, just.
So what do you tell him when you go there?
These are your grandchildren that you decided to, you know, not meet. But they love going there as well. You know, there's like a park.
Okay.
On
the other side,
the Geese Park, and then they like the ostriches there, so we take some stuff to go and feed. And I think there's a fish pond there as well, so, you know, I take them there, and then after they go to feed the ostriches and the geese and the fish in the fish pond, and they like it there. And I've actually taken them on a tour at the Osu Castle. I showed them where my room was, where their grandfather used to be, and they love it. So. I feel the sense of responsibility to educate them about who they are and where they came from and how we got to where we are today.
Let's leave at Asomdwe Park for some time. 2 or 3 questions there.